Hey there. I'm recording this on my due date eve, but if you're seeing it, it means that the baby's here. And it occurred to me that upon the baby's arrival, those of you who've been playing along and have been sadly unsuccessful in solving for the clues may be wanting some explanation of how certain clues led you to certain names. And so I thought I would create a bit of a key via this video to explain them to you, like any satisfying mystery would do. I've heard that things get a little crazy once the baby gets here. We'll see. But I thought it might be wise to record this ahead of time. So, if you're watching this, you already know that if we have a boy, the baby's name is Finnegan. And if we have a girl, I should pause here. We had a dark horse 11th hour new name surface about 2 days ago for the girl. I don't know if we'll go with it or not. We're going to see what she looks like if it's a girl. But if we go with the new name, then the old name that you've been solving for will become the middle. So it won't all be for naught, but I am sorry about that. But you can't predict when inspiration will strike. So if the baby's a girl, potentially her name is Leland, or maybe that's her middle name. Okay, so how did we get there from these clues? The first clue was the really, really long one. This kind of introed the whole game. But there were some clues hidden inside of here. Number one, I wanted a whimsical name. So Finn, obviously, is already there are already stories about boys named Finn, could be the center of a fable. Leland, maybe less so, but I don't know. I could see Leland being at the center of a children's series. Will wanted something with meaning. Finnegan is Irish. Will is Irish. That's kind of as deep as that one goes. But Leland is the name of the street that I was living on when Will and I fell in love in Chicago. And we walked a lot up and down that street. And it's also where I lived with Joe. And so we just have a lot of special memories from that season of life. And so that's how we came to Leland. So that name really does have a lot of meaning to us. Then the end of this clue was the first one for the girl's name, and it's pretty obvious. We say she'll likely be the only one of these in her class. It's an old British name, commonly used for chaps, but we like it for a girl. That's all true of the name Leland. Moving on. Clue number 2. Now, if I was an editor of sorts, I would have these clues fly in, but I'm not a YouTuber yet. Okay, so clue number 2. It was, this title comes from Warriors Old and the legend of digits they told. Finnegan maybe comes from the name Finn, from the legend of a guy named Finn McCool. And this guy ate a salmon and inherited the thumb of knowledge. And so legend of digits should not lead you to numbers, as it did for some of you, sadly. It should lead you to fingers and toes. And then you would think thumb, Finn McCool, the legend. If he's quiet and deep, it's the nickname he'll keep. Finn, sort of the more artsy, sensitive name, but the full meal is made for the bold. Some of you thought that there was another clue within full meal, which honestly made me feel like a much better clue master than I am. You thought maybe ham was part of the name or some other food term. I wish that were the case. Full meal was really just a way to say the full name for me. But the format of this clue was itself a clue. This is a limerick, and obviously that's an Irish form of poetry, so that should have led you to it being an Irish name. Okay, easy. Then we kick things up a notch with the hieroglyphics. So in October, I went home and rediscovered a book that I used to love called The 11th Hour that had a ton of codes to solve for and mysteries to solve for. And some of them had like a visual language, and so I decided to create my own. So you were given this, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, because that sentence has every letter in the alphabet. And then you were given the corresponding visual language that I came up with so that you knew what was assigned to each letter. Now, I'd like to point out a very subtle clue that within the letters that are part of the word Leland are some clues that you're on the right track. So L was wind, Windy City. E was jeans, Lee jeans. L again. A was male. This was an address of a place where I lived. N was a dinosaur. I don't know what that means. And D was a pot. Joe and I did a lot of cooking on Leland. I don't know. I guess this one falls apart at the end, but the beginning I thought about. Okay. But the bigger clue was that then you were to take those visual symbols and solve for this equation. If you did that, you got the first part being Marilla's Girls sequel. Marilla is the character from Anne of Green Gables who adopts Anne. So the sequel to Anne of Green Gables is Anne of Avonlea. The next part of that was minus Egyptian house plan. An Egyptian house is a pyramid. A synonym for plan is scheme, pyramid scheme. Avon is a pyramid scheme. It's a makeup company. So Avonlea minus Avon gives you Lee, obviously. The next part is Land of Oz, which is Alphabet Nation. Alphabet Nation should get you to Land of Oz, minus Baby Greetings. It was a typo. It said Baby Greeting O. Some of you called me on that. I'm really sorry. I really regret that. It was supposed to be Baby Greetings, but I clarified that to anyone who asked. So Baby Greetings was Oz, meaning like the sound someone makes when they greet a baby. So Land of Oz minus Oz just gives you land, Lee, land. Equals, you could have solved for the other part of the equation, which was a number. I can't even remember right now what number it was, but every street in Chicago's on a grid, and every street has a number assigned to it. So it was 2500 North or something like that, which is the number assigned to the street, Leland. So either side of the equation would get you there. Again, easy. Okay, final clue for Finnegan was a flag. Now, some of you, I sent this to you and you said, why did you just send me a flag with the word slut on it a lot? I'd like to point out that the word slut is not on here. It's actually slutet, which is another language. Every word on here is a different language, even including this symbol, which is a musical language. Coda, slutet, awari. We have all these different languages, and if you Googled any of them, they meant end. Can you hear that? Hang on. It's trash day. So these are all words that mean the end in another language. Now, you might notice that it's a French flag. We have the blue, the red, pretend the middle's white. So what we're looking for is the French word for the end, which is fin. And so we have fin, the end, again and again and again and again and again. Fin again. That's clue number 4. Any questions? Seriously, thanks for playing along. I wonder who our baby is. And if you have any questions or anything I forgot to cover, feel free to let me know. Maybe this will just be my first YouTube video of many. Who can say?